What the?
He's recording. Yes, so turn around.
Dante to B40.
What is it? What?
Miss Cheryl needs to see you.
Oh, shucks.
All right, DNA, RNA.
It's recording.
What is genetics, Haley? What is genetics?
I got an iPad.
The study of genes and
Oh, go ahead.
no, she can go.
The study of genes and heredity.
Study of genes and heredity. Good job, Haley. Over there.
No, she wasn't.
Trait. What's an example of a trait? Okay. What could you all have inherited from your parents? Hair color, eye color. Okay. When I say a trait is dominant, what am I saying?
That it's more.
It happens more in the low.
Okay, happens more in the bloodline. You get to see it more. You get to see the dominant players on the field. What about recessive? What does recessive mean?
I'm checking it.
Hey, this is my boy.
That was part of it, the notes that we took. What did recessive say, Allie? We said something was recessive, a trait. If dominant means that it's always shown, what do y'all think recessive means?
I just want to
Every couple generations, it's not always shown. Y'all will need to know the difference between dominant and recessive, Kara. It is important, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, genes, a segment of DNA that codes for a protein, which in turn codes for a trait such as skin tone, eye color. What does DNA actually stand for, Tanner? What does it actually stand for?
Deoxyribonucleic acid or whatever.
That's a long word.
Yep, Haley, go ahead. Help them out. Deoxyribonucleic acid, DNA.
No, that ain't no word. That's like 4 different words in one word.
Yeah, all combined together, right?
That is so
Molecule that stores genetic information, and we have to be able to copy DNA to make new cells. Okay? I don't know if I specified this, but you need to make a little annotation that there are 20 amino acids in the human body that we are working with. 20 amino acids. Okay? Yeah, we did. We're just going over it to review. 20 amino acids. Proteins are responsible for hair, skin, hormones, muscle movement, antibodies, chemical reactions. Made up of long chains of amino acids, but I didn't specify that we had 20 inside the body. What are Watson and Crick famous for? They discovered DNA, yes. They created the double helix model of DNA. Why is DNA important, or studying DNA important?
because it's the essential to all life.
Okay, good. Good job, Gavin.
I said it's
Good job, Miracle. Here you go.
Hey, we won.
Okay, DNA is a polymer made of 2 long strains. We said a double helix model made up of chains of nucleotides. There's a diagram of nucleotide made of a phosphate, pentagon sugar, and nitrogen base. We wrote down the diagram of it. Adenine or A always pairs with what?
T.
And guanine or cytosine. Guanine always pairs with what?
a cytosine.
Cytosine. G and C and A and C. That's the base pair rule.
Yeah.
Okay, A and T and C and G always pair together. We talked about DNA strain forming a double helix. You do need to know the structure of DNA. It forms a double helix.
How did a company be created like that?
All right, replication is the process of DNA copying itself. What was translation?
Translation?
Yeah, what did we say translation was? The making of what?
Make proteins and then instructions to the ribosome who make proteins.
Okay, translation is the making of proteins. Replication, the replicating of DNA, and then translation is the making of proteins right here. We use messenger RNA to transport the instructions to the ribosomes. I don't know if I included this, but ribosomes are the organelles that actually make the proteins in our body. So ribosomes, you can write down ribosomes make proteins. They read the mRNA and make the protein. Ribosomes make proteins, in short.
How spell ribosome?
ribosomes. Ribosomes.
Make protein?
Yeah, they make the proteins. They read the mRNA instructions and make protein.
Oh.
Wow.
Somebody came with the light wheel.
Yeah, no more work.
It shouldn't stay
Hey,
Just stay down.
I'm hungry.
Alright, RNA.
Y'all know.
Hey, what did we say the differences of RNA was, Lawrence? What is the difference between RNA and DNA? Star. One strand. What else is the difference?
Instead of the T, it has the U.
Instead of T, it has the U,
I need
which
me a
is.
soda.
What is the U?
That
What is
base
the U?
not diamine?
What does the U mean, Kara?
URACIL, that word?
Uracil. Good job.
It used as a nitrogen base line.
U replaces T. There you go.
Oh, man.
Kind of, so.
Alright, so, yeah, so, hey,
All right.
yeah.
And that was some facts about DNA. Okay, now that we've reviewed DNA, kind of, and RNA, and we talked about dominant recessive, I want to dive a little bit further into genetics. If it'll allow me to.
Your next skill balance.
Okay, so y'all can start a new sheet and label it genetics notes.
It's supposed to be running.
Oh,
Keep your notes because we will use them at the end. We'll use them Friday. Hint. Friday.
yeah.
Okay, let's try this again.
This
Okay.
Let's say do iPhone 15.
they don't make phone look. It's that NOLA 2.0.
Eggs out and eggs.
That bitch never break.
Try around with that.
Okay, perfect. Okay. Objective for this one, for this lesson, will become efficient at reading, comprehending, filling out Punnett squares. And we're going to worry about Punnett squares first, and then go into family pedigree charts. We're going to figure out the difference between homozygous heterozygous, dominant, and recessive, and be able to know what genotype, phenotype ratios are. Okay? Genetics notes. Genetics is the scientific study of heredity. I believe we already took that down last time we took notes. But never can never have too many notes taken down, I guess I should say.
See about you going from.
See, can I get a pencil?
Well, what about Brandon?
All right. Gregor Mendel. You need to know that he is the father of genetics. Gregor Mendel. Yeah, Gregor Mendel, father of genetics. Independent assortment. You can shorten it up and write that it has no effect on the inheritance of another trait. So that means just because you're tall doesn't mean automatically that you're going to be smart. You can be tall, but then you have to get the trait of being smart. Or for pea plants like he used, the pea plant could be tall, but not green. They are independent of one another. He used, if you ever heard about his study, his was the study of pea plants, and he crossed pea plants, and he was able to predict with 100% effectiveness of what the next generation of pea plants was going to look like. So he was crossing green pea plants with green pea plants, tall pea plants with short pea plants, and he kept on doing this until he was able to completely predict the future offspring of the pea plants.
What else do we get right?
Just independent assortment's good. That second bullet point. Gregor Mendel, father of genetics, and independent assortment.
Wait, what were we doing?
The second one, independent assortment, the trait has no effect on the inheritance of another trait. So just because a pea plant is tall doesn't mean it has to be green. They're independent of each other.
The second. Under whose group?
Miss Kristen takes it for numerical. Go see Miss Webb. Or where's Miss Webb at? She's in P4. Can't stop the middle of y'all learning something to go there. To discipline. Okay.
What else?
I moved too fast.
Yes.
No, you could. I was just making sure I do it.
No, you're not.
Quiz, you get a quiz. Pretend. Act like you're writing something. Good, Taylor? Okay. Study of how traits are passed from parents to offspring. Y'all know that. We did genes last PowerPoint, I believe, a segment of DNA that determines a trait. So if I was y'all, you could write gene that's in red the segment of DNA that determines a trait. Just shorten it up. Write down just the essentials on each slide. I don't want y'all to write down every single word you see, but as long as you kind of understand what that slide is saying, then we can move on. Right here is a good picture of it. Is the chromosome, but each one of these segments codes for a specific gene. So this gene right here might code for your eye color. This code at the bottom might code for your skin color. Okay, each part of the chromosomes, each segment of the chromosomes code for a specific gene or trait.
Is this slide big?
Huh?
Is the slide huge?
Oh, you talking about the amount of them? No. I think it's not that bad. We're only going to do about half of it today so we can get to Punnett squares. What you laughing at? You got drummed by Ridgewood, man. I know.
Coach put us on the team.
I know. Would you try?
Nah. Why you always looking at me? I think you looking at me every time. I knew that they just sent you.
Okay.
Wait, huh?
Yeah, that's fine. I saw her on the tracker, but they just texted for her, so I didn't know if she had it or not.
Wood.
All right.
Whoa. Even
Okay. Oh, sorry. Miracle on Google Classroom in the genetics unit, we have some worksheets that are due for today, okay? I'm sorry, I'd rather you stay in here and learn what you did. All right, for some candy, how many chromosomes does the human have? Here you go, Stephen. Answered it right away.
Where is his head?
He never raised his hand. What is the female sex cell called? Egg. Oh man. The male, what's it called, Stephen? Okay, Y is correct as far as genotype. Sperm cell, yep, good job. Who said that?
Me.
Okay, 23 from the father, 23 from the mother, okay? We have 22 matching chromosomes right here. And then the last one, the 23rd pair, is either going to be XX or XY to determine gender. So you can write down on your sheet, I just want you to know the 23rd pair determines sex, what you're going to be, male or female. We all know that we have 46 chromosomes. They're matching pairs, and on the 23rd set, we're either going to be XX or XY from XX from female, XY from male.
Which one's right now? 23rd pair.
23rd pair of chromosomes determines our sex or what gender we will be. XX is what? Female. XY is what? Male. Okay?
Male.
You checked in? Okay. Get out your notes and just follow along with us, okay? 23rd pair determines our gender.
talking about on the blue thing, on the other side of the line.
Yeah, I think that's the chalk. All right. Funny dog. Struggling. Okay, homologous pair. Okay, you can have the gene for eye color, like on this one it says blue, on this one it says brown. Different genes possibly code for the same for the same trait, but different eye colors. So, what determines what eye color you're going to show or present? Okay, do you think the recessive eye color is going to show or the dominant eye color is going to show? Dominant, okay? We said dominant.
Want us to rate this?
Is what's shown, yeah. Okay, in a little while we're going to talk about dominant and recessive right here. Dominant is shown and recessive is what's not shown. Dominant will always be represented with a capital letter. So capital letters. So big T is dominant. So what do you think recessive is going to be? We're talking about T right here. So what's recessive? A little t. Okay. So we said dominant is what's shown, recessive is what's not shown, and then dominant gene are uppercase letter, lowercase t is lowercase letter. I would write just what I did right there in your notes. That covers everything. Dominant is shown, recessive not shown. Dominant is big letters, recessive is little letters. Bear with me a little while. About to work in groups here in a second. On computer. You enjoying this? Okay. Letters, yeah. Capital letters, lowercase letters. So if I say little t, what is that?
Recessive.
Recessive. Okay, good. And this looks like a little litter of puppies right here. The dominant colors, the black fur, and then you have the recessive color, which is the pink or the white fur.
It looks like white fur, but not all the way growing in, so you can see the skin.
Okay.
So you can see through.
Everybody stick their thumbs back as far as they can go. If your thumb goes all the way back, like really far back, you have what's called hitchhiker's thumb.
You got that, right?
You think?
You got that.
If it's straight and you can't bend it, like
I can't bend
Kira's,
mine.
that's the dominant trait, which is straight thumb trait. Who's bends
I
like
can't
back
bend
really
mine.
far without you doing anything? Yeah, Haley's got hitchhiker's thumb. Huh? It's broken?
Let me see yours.
Do your other thumb then.
Mine don't even
okay.
bend.
Okay. So
I don't care.
for somebody to have,
No.
You don't care, Karen?
No, I don't.
She's like that.
all right, listen. This is
It turned off.
This is an important rule, Jace.
That man talking.
For somebody to have
you say?
hitchhiker's thumb, Kara,
He said something about the fuck.
y'all listen up. It has to be, they have to have little t, little t.
Oh.
They have to have little t to have hitchhiker's thumb. If you ever see a big T, then a little t,
Me personally?
Jace,
What
stop
he
talking.
said.
If you ever see a capital letter, no matter what's behind it, that is the trait that's going to be shown. So if we say, Jace, stop. If we see,
That was
it wasn't Jace? My fault then. If we see big G is for green, and little g is for white. If I say big G, what color is it going to be?
Green.
Green. Okay? If I say big G, little g, what color is it going to be? Huh? What's the capital? What's the capital letter? If you see a capital letter, that's what it's going to be always. Alright, what if you see little g, capital G?
Adam G.
Careful. What is there a capital letter?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. If you see a capital letter, what color is it going to be? Green.
But if it's little g,
There you go. Now we're talking.
thank you.
So little g will be white.
Nigga been in Wabi.
You want to I'm being I don't appreciate interruptions. I'm saying not the colors we're talking about. Not green or not white. All right, so that's a good example. You must have two recessive alleles for a recessive trait to show. So if it's recessive, it has to be little g for it to show little t. You have to have two of them. The dominant trait will always show if it's there. Okay. If I say the word, if I say homo, what does that mean? Does anybody know what homo means?
Gay.
I'm looking for, anybody know? Yeah.
Gay.
No. Homo means same. Same.
Homophobic is against gay.
So what do you think hetero means?
Straight.
Different. Thank you. Same, different. Write this down in your notes. If I say the word heterozygous,
That been on. That been.
heterozygous,
And they must have charged that bit for.
can y'all stop talking every time that we say something different? Heterozygous, if I say hetero, what does it mean? Different. So we're talking about letters, and I'm saying different. If there's two letters, what do those two letters have to be? They have to be different. So if I'm talking about big T, little t, and I say heterozygous, it has to be different. So that's going to be big T, little t. Okay, if we're talking about G and big G and little g, that's going to be big G, little g. So heterozygous, different, big T, big G, little g. Okay, homozygous. Homozygous is same. So going on the same